We are live.
Thank you. I want to welcome everybody tonight to the Community Development Committee portion of the meeting for Monday, April 26th. We have 3 items on the agenda for tonight. The first item being the approval of the regular CD meeting minutes from April 12th, 2021. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Mitchell, seconded by Mr. Sarah.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. There may be a delay with me speaking. I'm not sure. I'm getting that impression. Okay. Item 2 is the matter of a request for a liquor license transfer from Cherry Ridge Golf Club, Clubhouse and Patio in Golf Course located at 1211 West River Road to Lorraine County Metropolitan Park District Clubhouse and Patio and Golf Course located at 1211 West River Road. This would be a permit class D1. I was notified by the clerk's office today that the police department said there were no issues or no reports from this location. Are there any questions? Mr. Oswald.
Just a quick one. Is that the same exact license that was there before?
To my knowledge, it was. I believe they've only, and that would be beer for on-premise consumption or in sealed containers for carryout. And it is a transfer. So being a transfer, it cannot be any changes as to the original license.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, I would enter. Yes, go right ahead, Mrs. Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Seeing none, no other questions, I'll make a motion that the city does not request a hearing.
Second.
A motion has been made that the city does not request a hearing by Mrs. Mitchell and seconded by Mr.
Call for the question.
Sarah. Question on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Third item on the agenda is the matter of a request for a new liquor license submitted by Bob Evans Restaurant, LLC, doing business as Bob Evans Restaurant, 503 Griswold Road. This would be permit class C1 and C2. Same feedback from the Elyria Police Department. There were no issues in regards to this location. Do I have any questions on the panel? Seeing no questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion on the topic.
Mr. Chair, I make a
Yes.
recommendation that the city does not request a hearing.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mr. Sarah that the city does not request a hearing, and it's seconded by Mrs. Mitchell.
Question.
Question on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Seeing no further business for community development, I know Mr. Stewart will be carrying on with finance. I would accept a motion to adjourn community development.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Sarah, seconded by Mrs. Mitchell. Call for the question. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Carry on, Mr. Stewart.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Monday, April 26th, 2021 Finance Committee meeting. First item on the agenda is the approval of the regular finance meeting minutes, April 12th, 2021. Can I get a motion?
Move approval, Mr.
Moved by
President.
Mr. Baird,
Second.
second by Mr. Tolet. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item number 2, we've considered the matter of placing a lien on the property at 138 Morgan Avenue for the demolition cost in the amount of $12,500. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Baird,
Second.
second by Mr. Tolet. Safety Service Director Brubaker.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This house caught fire about a month ago. It's a vacant property that the owner was recently deceased back in early March, and they tried to turn the property over to the bank. So in that transition, it did catch fire, and it was in such a condition that it had to be demolished, so we had it demolished. We're hopeful that the bank will, insurance will reimburse us for this, but we wanted to make sure we got it on the property as a lien prior to any other action being taken on the property.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Mr. Beard? Mr. Tolet?
Was there insurance on the property at the time of the fire?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we don't believe so. The gentleman had been deceased about 3.5 weeks, and the family it had a mortgage on it, and the family was canceled everything that relative to the property and was attempting to turn it back over to the bank because nobody in the family wanted that property with the mortgage. So at this time, I would say no, but there's a possibility that the bank did, and we're awaiting information from the bank, but this is a way to protect ourselves in the event something else happens with the property.
Thank you.
Very good. Any further discussion, Mr. Baird?
Yeah, just a point. Happened to be talking to Mr. Miller, who's head of the Port Authority, and talking about, because I said, oh, we're with these liens. He says, well, why are you doing that? And I said, well, try to get our money back, which we hardly ever do. And he says, well, you know, they do that, and they put the upfront money up. I'm not sure we're aware of that or whatever. I was kind of amazed because we've been doing it right along. Do you happen to, you've kind of been very active in that, obviously.
Through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Brubaker has worked with the land bank for many years, and they work very closely, especially with the county prosecutor's office, and we have taken advantage of their demo monies on actually many occasions. They have handled probably, I don't want to over-exaggerate, but Mr. Brubaker, 100 demos probably in the last 5 to 10 years in Elyria?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, they're up around 250 that they've taken down for us. In this particular property, because it had caught fire and it was going to collapse, and the fire department was struggling to put the fire out. That's why we did the emergency demo. But we do work very closely with the county, and we turn properties over to them to demolish, and then they take care of it from there, which they've done quite a bit since 2013 for us.
Okay, good, because I was kind of like, what? I wasn't aware of the procedure on that. So, thank you.
Yes, and I mean, as Mr. Brubaker could definitely elaborate, in a situation like this where the property is a hazard, there's been a fire, the city needs to act quickly, which is why the demo is handled by us, and then we go ahead and we put a lien on. But when we've had other nuisance properties and we've declared them to be uninhabitable and condemned, we have turned them over, and we've worked with the land bank and the Port Authority. Yes, that's true.
At one time, too, Mr. Chairman, I was managing about 300 properties, and we've taken care of all of them. I think we might have 4 on our demo list right now that I'm working actually with Mr. Miller with over at the Port Authority.
Okay, great. So we've been doing that right along now. That makes me feel better. Thank you.
Ms. Davis?
This property, you didn't take all the water. Also, I know the area. And so if they didn't have any insurance, when the property sold, we may not get to 12.5, but at least we could get half of this when they sell the property. Sometimes they come along now, property is so good right now. So if they come along and buy, they're not gonna pay that much. At least maybe you can get half of this back to sell the property.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, that's exactly why I don't know if we get anything back, but this is protecting our interest for the dollars that we have spent for the demolition.
Right. Very good. Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
Question on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. I know I'm kind of doing it backwards, but Item number 3. We've considered the matter of the issuance of short-term general bond anticipation notes. One is for the Chestnut Commons Connector Project for $5,200,000, the Elyria Fire Department pumper truck and appurtenant equipment for $550,000, and the sanitation truck for the pertinent equipment of $350,000. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So move, Mr.
Moved
Chairman.
by Mr. Baird,
Second.
second by Mr. Tolet. Mr. Pileski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you mentioned, we have, with the 5.2 million Chestnut Commons connector notes are coming due July the 1st. So the plan is to issue new notes to pay the old note off, and we really won't be paying anything down on the principal until we start getting TIFs and/or special assessments. So we'll be carrying this note at the 5.2 million until that happens. So this will be a one-year note maturing. For the fire truck is new money. So we have ordered a fire truck and tried to lease it, but there was too many issues with the lease agreement. The law director's office did not like some of the language, and the leasing company was not willing to move on that. So the only other option is to issue a one-year note, pay that note off out of issue 6 over the remaining life of this current issue 6 issue, which is another 4 years. And then the $350,000 for the garbage truck is new money as well. That truck is on order, and then we will pay that note out of the sanitation fund.
Okay. Is there any, Mr. Oswald?
Through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Pileski, that 5.2 million, is that etched in stone, or can that change? Is that number going to go up or down, or where are we at with that number on the connector road?
The original 5.2 million was used to pay the contractor to put in the road. We have not spent that entire amount of 5.2. I believe there's a little over $1 million left in that fund, somewhere in that neighborhood. So if that money is not used, then we could probably lower the note and going forward with some of the, just return some of that money, pay for it on the on the note coming due in the future. But we're holding off in case there's more money to be spent on the issues over there, legal services, what have you. So
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Oh, I was going to say, out of sequence.
Item number 4, we consider the matter of resolution of necessity and ordinance to proceed with the Chestnut Commons Connector Road.
Through you, Mr. President, I'd be happy to speak to that.
Yep, let me get a motion to get on the, can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Ms. Davis,
Second.
second by Mr. Tolet. Law Director Deary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Mr. President, I should say. This matter is a next step. The legislation has been drafted by our counsel, Squire Patton Boggs. This pertains to the assessments, should they be needed, if we do not collect the necessary monies through a TIF, and it's essentially a housekeeping matter. There are actually 2 separate pieces of legislation. One is the resolution and then a companion ordinance.
All right. Is there any further discussion in regards to this?
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item number 5, we consider the matter of the 2021 permanent appropriation ordinance authorizing the said permanent appropriation changes per the attached list. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So move.
Moved by Ms. Davis,
Second.
second by Mr. Gillette. Mr. Farrell.
Thank you, Chairman. There's two this evening. The first is in the 2016 0.5% income tax fund, Parks and Rec, an increase of $300,000, and in the law enforcement trust fund, an increase of $85,000. The $300 is for West Park Trail, and $85,000 is at the request of Chief Whiteley for some investigative items and upgrades to the gym at the police station.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Surveyor reports, we kind of had a little bit of a different way that I was kind of handling it a little bit as far as passing it out, making sure they're all signed, but at the end of the day, see the clerks over there to make sure that everyone's got it signed. If there's nothing more to come before this committee, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Baird,
Second.
second by Mr. Gillette. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Good meeting.